It's a good day to you out there. This is NDTV, the Nigerian Diaspora television, coming to you from the soil of South Africa. Today, we promise you a very interesting edition. We shall be taking you onto an interview with one of the Nigerians that are doing well on the soil of South Africa here in Johannesburg. He is a CEO, he is a founder of an organization. So to say, he is one of the Nigerians that are doing well. I'm not going to tell you what this person is. Until then, stay tuned. Okay, viewers, still on the matter on NDTV, the Nigerian Diaspora television. I have the pleasure of welcoming Darlington Steve. He is a CEO of Dexterity Radio, a founder of Darlington Steve Foundation. Bra, how you dey?
I dey.
Wow, you dey shine, no. You dey shine. We could speak our own. Anybody who no go hear, no go hear. How you dey?
At least I'll try my best to see if I still have my broken.
Thank you so much for granting us this.
Thank you very much.
We really appreciate you.
Thank you.
Now let us start. How have you been doing?
Okay, how have I been doing this morning? I'm fine. And you guys are giving me tensions and nerves in terms of questions you want to ask me. I don't know, and I'm worried. And so, but I'm fine. I'm taking it cool.
Okay, not a problem. Let us start like this. Who is Darlington?
Okay, that's a tough question, but I'll try my best to see if I can deliver that answer. Darlington is first and foremost a God-fearing human being who believes in the Trinity, which is God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Blood-washed, tongue-speaking. I don't deny my religion or probably my faith or my belief. And after then, I'm a media personality, a businessman, a philanthropist, and I'm currently now the founder and president of Darlington Steve Foundation. There are a lot of faces attached to my life, but I think as we continue, we'll find a way of actually unfolding it one after the other.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
The foundation, being a radio broadcaster, how have you been putting these things together?
It's not been easy, I'll say. Try to succeed in the land that is not yours. First and foremost, you have all the barriers of language difference, personality difference, societal difference, custom and belief system also, they are different. And then also you still find yourself trying to meet the needs of the people who don't seem to like you just because of your nationality. And so it's been challenging, but at least God is helping us and we're taking it one day at a time.
Okay. Now let us go being a broadcaster again.
Yeah. Dexterity
Radio. The CEO of Dexterity Radio.
Yes, sir.
How did it start?
Dexterity Radio started, if I'm not mistaken, I'm trying to remember the date. I think September was the last weekend of September, which is about 4 years ago now. And I remember we started in my house then, which is around Randburg here, where we're doing this very particular recording. The concept behind the radio station was for us to be able to provide information for Africans living in diaspora. That was the first main aim, but as we journeyed through the space, we begin to see that, okay, it's a platform where we need to also start telling our stories as Africans, because one of the big things we experience is the fact that our stories have been edited. Nobody celebrates Africans. If you want to see African being celebrated, it has to be celebrated by white. My question there is, how come we as the black, we don't celebrate ourselves, we don't tell our own stories, we don't write our own stories? And also as a diasporas, I get to find out based on my training program with some of the institutions in South Africa that with the diaspora, especially with the Nigerians, we've been, I think the better word to say is we've been set aside. Nobody wants to talk to us. Nobody wants to do business with us. The moment you say Nigeria, it's the beginning of wisdom for anybody. And so people, the South Africans, some of them, I'm not going to say every one of them because I've met wonderful South Africans who are part of the business and also part of the foundations that are working with me. But majority of the South Africans, we want to separate you. And so because of that, it becomes a problem. I think when we were talking, when we were doing the dry run, I was explaining to you my journey in terms of how I started the radio stations. Yes. And when I finished from the radio school, needed to get an internship program I couldn't get. The internship program was supposed to last. The one I then who was willing to accept me, agreed 6 months. I think when I now sent my profile to them and everything, they thought I was a white guy because of the name, Darlington Steve. And all of a sudden, they now find out that, okay, it's a black guy, not even a black guy in Nigeria. Whoa. From 6 months, ended up becoming a 3 month. From 3 months, ended up becoming a 1 month internship program. And so after then, I felt the pain. And I think that was where the Holy Spirit opened my eyes to say, if you are going through what you're going through now, imagine the foreigners who are in South Africa. What are they going through? And so I sat down. I remember calling 4 of my friends, including me 5. I don't want to mention their name for security reasons, to saying, I think it's high time for us to start telling our stories. Let's start something that we can then tell our own stories as successful black people in South Africa, or probably diasporas. And I think because of the fear then, I think after we started Dexterity Radio, 2 months later, there was a xenophobic attack. The big one that happens, that was about 3 years ago. So some of those guys, I remember one of them was killed. Doing the radio station, we get a lot of threats because, mind you, then I started from my house. We got a lot of threats. Some people, I ended up calling some of my South African police friends to protect me. And I think I was really very happy because they were able to come on board. So it was painful. It was a journey where if you ask me if I want to go back again and start, I'll tell you no, because I now understand the dynamics. It's better for you to protect us, especially as a family man. You now consider that, okay, you need to live long. So it wasn't easy, I must say. The fear was there. Started the radio station with what I have. And up till now, still running the radio station. And by the grace of God, we moved from where we are to where we are currently now. Still doing the radio. So it's not been easy, but at least.
I would like you to tell me what you have never told anybody.
I think one of the things... And which I've said it before was...
No, I said what you have never
said to anybody.
Yes.
Funny enough, when you were saying this, I remember I was asking my director, what I've never said to anybody. And he was like, no, you're a single parent. I'm like, yeah, but I did event with that before. So it's not a secret. I don't know, I'm trying to think what I've not said to anybody. Help me.
I remember you were talking about how you started in South Africa.
Okay, yeah, I think that would be better. I started as a cleaner.
You hold me on that.
Yeah, okay, I'll hold you on that. That's fine. We'll make it up. When I came into the country, I think that was that's a good one. That's a good uncle. Nobody knew that when I entered the country, I was a cleaner. I started as a cleaner in this country because I never wanted to compromise my faith and compromise my system and my values. I was a cleaner. From a cleaner, when I mean cleaner, like literally I was cleaning people's houses. Washing their clothes. I remember one of the big churches here in South Africa, for security reasons I don't want to mention his name. I was cleaning his church for almost 1 year, 3 months, just for me to survive. That's exactly what people don't know about it. So starting from a cleaner, and this is a guy who was in Nigeria before. I produced almost more than 4 movies before I got into the country. I was very big when it comes to the issue of event coverage. I own a business in Nigeria called Oracle Media International. Still doing well. But at the same time also now living that very particular good life. To come into South Africa, and I said to myself, the land will favor me. But part of the favor of the land, I have to go down also to the root and establish my foundation, understand the system. And I think I remember I was speaking to my director, which is one of the guys, my IT director, we were talking the other day, who happens to be Sean Kolawole. And we were talking, and he said something to me that was very profound. I remember he said, the reason why the foundation came together was because God wanted you to pass through those very particular stories. I mean, those experiences, so that when the time comes from the foundation, you know what to do. So those are my stories. I've been betrayed. I've lost money. Lots of money. And if there is one thing for me, I can put my hand and say, which I've never said to anybody, I've never swindled anybody of anything. Always living my life very peaceful, no stress. And with God, all things are possible.
Welcome back. That is just a tip of an iceberg. But before we continue the interview, we shall be going into the street with a street talk with an interesting issue to discuss with. Stay tuned.
That will go hard. Let me try. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend our unity, and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. It's been more than 40 years.
I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength. Faithful, loyal, honesty. To serve Nigeria with all my strength. I don't forget. You don't think I come up for school. I don't forget.
I pledge Nigeria, my country. My man, that's been a long time, man. That's primary school days, you know.
Okay, now let us go into this foundation of a team.
Darlington Steel Foundation. What was it like when you commissioned it?
Darlington Steel Foundation, I think it's a product of the DS Dexterity and the Adara Ventures. We came together with my board of directors to say, how then do we start putting solutions on the table? We've sat down with the team. I think I remember when we had our first board of directors meeting, we were looking at all the works we've done with the Dexterity Radio to say, it's high time for us to start considering giving back to the society. How then do we do it? For instance, on the radio and most of the businesses in which God has helped me for me to do in South Africa, almost more than 75% of my staff are South Africans.